So the idea of parallel realities brings with it the idea of nonlinear time. Or from another point of view, you could say timelessness. The fact that there is no linear time. So take consciousness, just to start with. You are conscious of my voice, are you not? Are you not?
Yes.
Thank you. So you are conscious of my voice. You're conscious of your body sitting in the chair that you're sitting in. Has there ever been an experience where you were not conscious of that experience? Have you ever experienced the reality without consciousness? No. Good. All right. So everything that ever existed has only appeared to or inside of your consciousness. Just like the entirety of your dream at night, even though it may seem out there, even though it may seem like you're visiting actual places, it's all happening inside of your consciousness. Reality is exactly like this. So you've never experienced, no one has ever experienced, no consciousness has ever experienced a reality outside of its own consciousness. That's because there is none. There is no reality outside of consciousness. There is no projection, there is no experience outside of consciousness. Or another way of saying that is, nothing exists independent from consciousness. Objects do not have beingness. Appearances do not have existence on their own. They depend on consciousness. Just like the experiences, again, in your dream at night. They don't have beingness of their own. They don't have existence of their own. It's not that they exist and you go visit them, and then you leave and then they still exist. You project that you're going somewhere, but that's all happening inside of absolutely still, motionless consciousness. So you are the center of the universe. That's the basic idea. That's the basic realization that you can have. I won't go too deeply into that now because that is a whole different topic in and of itself. And I'm kind of assuming you have some kind of familiarity with that if you've come to my meetings before. But basically just assume, even if you don't believe it's true for now, just assume that consciousness, which is what you are, which is what is listening to my voice, which is what you cannot escape, no matter how hard you try. You can run away from this meeting, you'll still be conscious. You can be hit by a car, you'll still be conscious. You can go talk to your mother, you'll still be conscious. Maybe a little less conscious, but you'll still be conscious. So consciousness is always there. Every experience you have meets inside of consciousness, inside of you. You can never change you. You can never leave you. You are inescapable. You as consciousness, you as awareness, you as the witness are inescapable. You as sentience, as beingness, are inescapable. You can feel into that for a moment if you stop thinking for 2 to 5 seconds. Just stop thinking. Give away all your thoughts. And notice the space that remains, the clarity, the consciousness that is still here, the I am that still exists. The very obvious, overwhelming sense, I exist. Exists whether you're thinking or not thinking. But when you're not thinking, it becomes very clear that I exist, exists independent from everything that appears. Regardless of what appears, you exist. Right? Okay. So consciousness can never be escaped. And it's the ground of all experiences. It's the meeting point of all experiences. So now that you know that consciousness is the meeting point of all experiences, in fact, it's the center of the universe. You can start to imagine that within this consciousness, there is the availability of infinite possibilities. Infinite possible configurations of energy, as I call it. Energy, which is one of the aspects of consciousness energy, can shape itself into whatever is possible. So on a universal cosmic infinite scale, everything that can ever exist already does exist. Any possible configuration of energy that can ever be made or created already exists. Where you shift your consciousness into determines your experience. And so consciousness sets itself up in such a way in this life, in this experience that you're having right now, that it creates or that it shifts into a reality, a view of reality that then looks very similar to the previous one, and then very similar to the previous one, and then very similar to the previous one. It does this so that it can have the illusion, it can generate the illusion of a linear timeline. But in fact, every single nanosecond is a completely 100% different new reality. Not new because it already existed, but new to you from your point of view, from your I am consciousness. So you don't move around inside of an actual world. You change worlds every nanosecond inside of you. Does that make sense? Okay.